live.
Oh, see, I like this so much better. This looks so much better, don't you think?
Yes.
Oh my
I
God, this is
do.
so cool. We're learning. We're learning, guys.
Yes,
This
we
is what
are.
I think our fourth, third,
Fourth. This is
fourth
our
live.
fourth.
Yeah, and we've come a long way, I have to say. Come a long way. So we're on here today to talk to you guys about our amazing health journeys that we've both been on. For me, I was suffering for many years. I started out with degenerative disc disease. My hair's going a little crooked looking. Um, in my neck and in my back. I basically hurt my back in my early 20s, lots of pain, lots of pain medications, lots of procedures. Then I hurt my neck in my early 30s, lifting a toilet when we were building our home, and found out I had degenerative disc disease in my neck also. So again, more pain medications, um, and more procedures. And I actually had an ablation where they put my nerve to sleep in my neck, and that was really, really painful. But the pain never went away all the way. It always came back, and at night it was excruciating for me. So I hadn't slept in like 25 years. I would sleep 15, 20 minutes at a time, and then the pain would always wake me up. And then as I got older, I started dealing with acid reflux when I was on medications for that. And then my blood pressure started going up and my cholesterol levels started going up. And then once I hit menopause, like forget it. I gained a ton of weight. I was moody, I was irritable, and I was just cranky all of the time. I just remember saying to myself in August of 2022, just saying like, God, like, is this how my life is going to end up? Like, I normally was like a happy person, and I just was so cranky and moody all the time and just very unhappy. I'd been very unhappy about my weight and the way that I was looking. Um, I actually tore my hip labrum in February of 2022, and I had surgery in September, and I was home recovering, and I was scrolling through TikTok, and I came across somebody's page, and she basically was like, "Do you struggle losing weight? Do you struggle with bloating?" And she started naming like this whole list of some of the things you can see going across the bottom of the screen. So yes, I was struggling with losing my weight. I was struggling with bloating. I was struggling with my blood pressure was starting to go up. My cholesterol level was starting to go up. I had acid reflux really bad. I craved sugar like there was no tomorrow. And when she said, "Do you crave sugar or salt after you eat?" I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like, how does she know? Like, how does she know that I do this? Right? I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a specific reason this is happening because I would always crave something salty after I ate. I mean, something sugary. And then every once in a while, I would crave something sugary. Like I'd have my bowl of ice cream, and then I'm like, oh, I want some potato chips, which I thought was kind of odd. But so when she was started naming all of these things, like I said, some of the signs you can see at the bottom, but she said if you're a pre-diabetic or have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, inflammation, sleep apnea, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, neuropathy, pain, osteoporosis, sleep apnea, so many things. And I was like, oh my gosh, she said, if you have two or more of these symptoms, you have something called insulin resistance. I was like, well, I have like 14 of these symptoms. So obviously I have this. I've never heard of it before. What is it? Because obviously I had it. So she was going on. She told me a lot of stuff, and she had a Facebook group that I got on, and I joined, and my mind was blown when I started to see all the different things that so many people were dealing with this, and what the system. She's talking about a nutraceutical that can really help with all of these symptoms. I never heard of insulin resistance before. I was 53 years old, and I had never heard of a nutraceutical before. Had you ever heard of a nutraceutical, Kay?
No, no, this was all new information for me too.
Right, it's kind of mind blowing. Like, you think all the years I had been to the doctors, um, not one time did any doctor ever say to me, like, let's take a look at your diet. Meanwhile, it was I literally ate my way to my pain and my inflammation. I ate my way to my acid reflux, my GERD, my blood pressure going up, my cholesterol going up. All the pain that I was in was all because of the way that I was eating and how I was jacking up my hormones so bad. But like I said, not one time did anybody ever say that to me. I had lots of procedures, I had lots of pain medications, but not one time did anybody ever mention that to me. It was the first time I was hearing of it was on social media. So I decided to listen to a lot of, like I said, she was saying, I listened to a lot of the testimonials, and I was kind of mind blown about what this nutraceutical was doing for people, and how it wasn't just helping with acid reflux. It wasn't just helping with people with high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes. It was helping people in so many different ways. Women who had PCOS, no longer having PCOS. Men who had erectile dysfunction, no longer dealing with that. People who had A1Cs in 16s, now in normal range, off their blood pressure medications, off their cholesterol medications. So I was like, oh my gosh, like what is this? And I decided that I was going to give it a try. And I'm telling you, it has literally changed my life. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and I am not the same person that I was 3 years ago. It's literally changed everything, everything about me, not just my health, but it also changed my whole family's health. And that's why Kay and I are on here sharing this information. 'Cause I am so grateful and thankful that somebody was on here, social media 3 years ago, getting this information out because I don't know where my health would be. My mom too, my husband, he's no longer on statin medications, he's no longer on acid reflux medications. My mom's no longer a type 2 diabetic. She's off her statin medications. My mother-in-law, she had fibromyalgia, COPD, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and she was pre-diabetic. No longer pre-diabetic. Her doctor took her off her blood pressure medications in 2 months after being on them for 25 years. She no longer needs oxygen for her COPD, and her fibromyalgia is like so much better. And they both lost about 50 pounds between my mom and my mother-in-law. I'll show you guys pictures later, but it's literally changed the health of my whole family. So we're just going to be on here telling you guys all about it, telling you our testimonies and how it's literally helped us and changed our lives. Kay, do you want to tell them about your story?
Yes. Yes. I've had 4 sinus surgeries, so I was chronic. Um, but I never felt like anything worked. Like I was doing the allergy shots. I went through all of that. And I was suffering. And then, the weight gain. But at no point did I ever think that my insulin resist was like I was in like an insulin resistant state or anything. I didn't know anything about that. So then finally, I met a nurse practitioner that kind of toggled into holistic, a little bit. So she was like, "Well, would you like to do extensive blood work?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And that's when it came out that I was insulin resistant and that it was something that I could reverse.
Wow, at
And
least you found out from somebody.
I did. So then I'm like, "Well, okay, I don't know anything about this and I don't know how to reverse it." Like there's no pamphlet that they're handing out exactly. So then I went on TikTok and found you, Diane. So there's like, oh, there's something. And I'm like, so then I just jumped in. So I'm on my 4th month. And I've got my blood work. I had my blood work done the 2nd month because it was already due anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
everything had improved. And the doctor was kind of shocked, but yet pleasantly. She's like, "Well, all right, and I have 30 pounds off, but I mean, I have a lot more to go. But, the system did help, but I feel like there's still a lot more to do. There's still a lot more to go.
Well,
But,
we got to give our bodies grace, right? We didn't get this sick overnight, we didn't,
right.
and it takes time, and everybody's body's different, we all heal differently. And that's what I always tell about it, everybody, like give your body grace, like you're already feeling better, right? I mean,
I am
just to think with your sinuses, how long did you deal with that?
since my 30s. My sinuses went bad in my 30s. I mean, and of course, I'm not realizing it's stemming from,
Yeah.
other issues.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was kind of thought that I was misdiagnosed after a while.
It's
But
crazy, right?
yeah, I've been dealing with it for a long time, but I just we weren't working on the root of the problem because I didn't know what that was.
Right. And when you find out, like I've done a lot of reading, I'm telling you guys, if you're interested or concerned about your health or your family member, you have to get this book, Why We Get Sick by Ben Beckman. He literally is, let me see if I got it right here.
Yeah,
He's the
there, that
leading
looks good.
scientist on insulin resistance in the country. And I'm telling you, you can see mine's kind of mushada because I go to this all the time. When I started to realize how insulin resistance, like you said, is literally the root cause of so many things Like I like to read the chapter, the contents, because this just goes to show you how it affects so many different things. Chapter 2, heart health, the brain and neurological disorders, reproductive, cancer, aging, skin, muscle, bones, gastrointestinal and kidney health, metabolic syndrome, and obesity. Like that's like almost everything that so many of us are dealing with, you know? So when I read this book and I just found out all this information, my mind was blown. I was like, "Oh my gosh. Like so many people need to hear this information, you know?" Um and what we're doing is we have literally have gotten on the feel great system. As you can see, it's been going past, but basically we insulin resistance, as you can see here, is the root cause of all of these things, right? Strokes, heart disease, obesity, migraines. How many people do you know are dealing with migraines?
A lot.
Um, right? Dementia, osteoporosis, childhood obesity. Oh my gosh, like it's so sad. I've been traveling, and normally I've never traveled before, but since doing this, I've been traveling, across the country a few times and even over to Thailand and Vietnam and being in the airports and seeing our children that are suffering. It's so sad. And I mean, just being in or Christmas, being online and seeing the kids in the grocery store. I mean, on TJ Maxx and Marshalls, I was literally online and there was a little boy in front of me. He had to be maybe like 4, and he grabbed a bag of gumballs and he was literally eating them like candy. And the mom was just shopping, looking around, like you can grab the stuff off the line. And I was like, oh my gosh, this little boy is literally eating gumballs. Like, it's just so sad. I heard a statistic that there's actually 3-year-olds that have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease right now. I mean, it's mind blowing.
Right, but
Women,
our food's not that good. Like some of the cereals, the breakfast
oh
cereals
my
aren't
God, it's all of them. It's all of them. I mean, if you think about like what we are eating for breakfast, um, and we're literally putting so much sugar into our systems first thing in the morning. I mean, when we talk about everybody's like, what's the most important meal of the day? You know, that wasn't God who came up with that. That was
right.
Kellogg's who came with that, and he had an agenda, let me sell as much of the cereals I possibly can. And it's just poison that we're putting in our systems first thing in the morning. And I mean, I did it. I gave it to my kids. I bought all the Lucky Charms and the Fruit Loops and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I had all different kinds
The
of cereals.
honeycomb. I remember
Yeah.
when the
Yep.
honeycomb came
And you
out.
think, yeah, you're eating heart healthy, get some Cheerios, right? We're giving the babies Cheerios, right? You're carrying those Cheerios around everywhere, right? And I mean, if you think about back in the olden days for our great grandparents, they didn't have, 262 different names for sugar. They didn't have, highly fructose corn
Well,
syrup.
they made most of their food.
Right. And they grew it.
Yeah, they weren't buying it at the store with all the preservatives. No.
Yeah. Yeah. And as, you know, I mean, I'm just kind of scared what's going to happen to my little grandbabies when they get older and their kids. What God only knows. I mean, look at the fruit these days. I went to go grab my grandson some grapes over the weekend, and I was like, the grape was bigger than my thumb. I was like, when I had grapes, they were like
They're little.
they were like this big. Now they're like this big because they're not real. It's not real food. So literally it's the food that's killing us. And your body can be insulin resistant for 10, 15, 20 years before it ever starts to present, and it can present differently in all of us. And that's why Kay was dealing with sinus infection for so many years. I was dealing with chronic pain. It was my inflammation that was causing me all of my pain. And it's kind of funny because I used to think to myself, gosh, like I'm laying down, I'm resting for the first time of my day, right? You think I would be like, no. When I would go to sleep, I would be in excruciating pain. Excruciating pain. Like just to lift my body up to turn between my neck and my back, it was horrible. I never slept. I started drinking coffee in my 40s because I didn't really care for the taste of it. Because I was falling asleep on my way to work. I needed the caffeine. The tea wasn't doing it for me anymore. Um, so I never slept. And on this system, this nutraceutical that we're going to tell you guys about, my gosh, I got my first full night's sleep within 1 month. I'll never forget the day. I was like, I woke up and I said, oh my God, I slept all night. I literally slept all at 20. 20 something years. So I hurt my back in my 20s. I was very early. So much to the fact that I had my son at 23 years old, and I had all back labor because I already had hurt my back. So that just goes to show you how young I was when I hurt my back. So, to have a finally have a full night's sleep, in all those years, it was mind blowing. For me, I got my energy back right away. The brain fog started going away. Like I said, being able to sleep. And I said I averaged about, I'd say I guess I'm at about 10 pounds a month because I lost about 40 pounds in 3.5 months. 30 inches, 7 just on my waist. So, and this is just plants, vitamins, and nutrients. That's the best part about this. This nutraceutical basically means it's just all natural. It's backed by science. It's backed by the Cleveland Clinic, which is the #1 heart hospital. It's backed by the University of Sydney, which is the home of glycemic index, BYU, UNLV, Stanford, just to name a few. It's got 20 clinical studies and trials. It's in 60 countries. So this is helping people all over the world. And I'd have to say it's probably like we are probably like low at the button, the totem pole of, people who are it's helping. And that's why Kay and I are on here trying to get this information out to as many
Absolutely.
people as we possibly can. You do with what you want, but I'm telling you, if you're concerned about your health, if you're concerned about being on medications and what they're going to do to you down the road, like I heard a statistic, if you're a woman and you're in your 40s and you're get put on a statin medication, you have a 50% higher chance of getting type 2 diabetes. And if you get the type 2 diabetes, you have an 80% higher chance of getting heart disease. Which, what is the #1 killer in America? Heart disease,
Heart disease for
right?
women.
All right. So it's kind of mind blowing, and I know a lot of people are, so quick to, well, not so quick, but you go to your doctor. I mean, that's what's happening, right? So our body starts to tell us something's going wrong. You get these symptoms. And like I said, these are happening over, 10 to 15, 20 years, these symptoms. And then all of a sudden, your blood pressure starts going up, or you're dealing with acid reflux, or you have inflammation, or you have sinus, and you go to the doctor and you get put on a medication. But these medications cannot fix these chronic dietary diseases. They just can't. My mother-in-law on blood pressure medications for 25 years. She got on this system. Within 2 months, her doctor took her off her blood pressure medications.
Do
So
you think
this
that's
system,
average? Do you think that's average? Just
I've seen different people. Who are we? I was talking to Kim. I was telling you Kim, my new partner Kim.
yeah.
She got off her blood pressure meds in 1 month. My mother-in-law was too. I have some testimony. Some people said, 5 months they're almost off all the blood pressure medications. We have a gentleman. His name is Michael. He this poor guy. He was on 25 different medications a day. 25. He was on 8 different blood pressure medications. I was like, Mike, why were you on so many? Like, why didn't they just? I'm thinking, like, when they just up your dosage. He said that's what he needed to be able to control his blood pressure. He was 492 pounds. But he was on 25 different pills a day. He was on Mounjaro, he was on metformin, glycipitide, all of these medications. He finally got on this system and he's off all of his medications, reversed his type 2 diabetes. I mean, it's just mind blowing. He's lost over, I know last I heard it was 116 pounds.
Good for
Um,
him.
yeah, yeah. And this is just plants, vitamins, and nutrients. That's the best part about this. This is in something called the PDR.net. So if you've ever heard of it, it used to be called the Physician's Desk Reference. It used to be a big blue book doctors would keep in their office to look up medications. And so if you're on any medications, you can go to the PDR. It's called the Prescriber's Desk Reference now. And you can look up any medication you're on. So you can look up, metformin or Ozempic or whatever. It's going to tell you the mechanism of action. It's going to tell you the adverse side effects and the black box warning. Well, this company that has this nutraceutical is the only company that has 18 all natural products in the PDR. So you can work with your doctor. Your doctor can look this up in the PDR. It's called Unimate. It's a yerba mate tea that we drink. Do you have the packets with you or no that you could show?
No.
I have them.
Oh, good. I'm in my living room, so it's in the kitchen.
So I have it. So it's called Unimate. It comes in these convenient little packets. Um, Like I said, you can look up, your doctor can look up Unicity Unimate in the PDR. It's going to tell you everything about it. This is like an all natural metformin. It's going to help keep your blood sugar low. It's going to give you the most amazing energy with no crash, right? You don't have no crash after it, right? It's just a nice,
I
consistent
don't.
energy throughout the day. It gets rid of that brain fog because basically, like I said, this gets to the root cause and actually starts to have those cells open up and start to breathe again. It heals you at a cellular level from the inside out. This is like we call it nature's Ozempic, because it's going to boost your own GLP-1 up to 70% in a fasted state. So basically, GLP-1, I'm sure you guys have all heard of it, right? It's a hormone. I had no idea. Did you? I had no idea.
No, I'm
I've learned so
learning.
much. I know. Just I've learned so much over the past 3 years. It's kind of cool and kind of mind blowing.
Hmm.
It's called glucagon-like peptide. It does a lot of amazing things, helping keep your blood sugar low, but it sends a signal to your brain to stop eating, and it shuts off the food noise. So for me, I don't know about you, Kay, or do you have an issue with sugar? Like I have a big issue with sugar. I'm addicted
Oh
to sugar.
yeah, I like it, but I
Yeah,
don't crave it anymore.
but you
More
did
so,
before, right?
yeah, more. It's more like, oh, I think I want to, just my brain, but it isn't like my body's screaming for it. Like,
Right. So
mm-mm.
this helps shut off the food noise. Now this also can boost your ketone production. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of ketones, but it can boost your ketone production up to 60%. Now your brain gets its energy from either glucose or ketones. It prefers ketones, but most of the time, it's getting its energy from glucose because most of the time we're just burning carbs all day wrong, right? Well, when you're stepping away from your plate, and this helps us to intermittent fast and helps us. So when we're doing that, it's going to allow our bodies for our insulin levels to start to come back down. Well, when you're not getting your energy from carbs, your body needs energy, so it goes into your fat cells, and it starts burning fat for energy. Well, it pulls out something called fatty acids, and it takes these fatty acids and it puts them into your liver, and your liver converts them to ketones. Now, ketones are the only fatty acid that can cross the blood-brain barrier and get to your brain and give your brain that nice, consistent energy that it prefers. Glucose is going to give it that spike and that crash. That's why it doesn't really care for it. So this is everything that this tea does. Now, it comes in this with this convenient little bottle, and it tells you where you can fill it up to. You can drink it cold or hot. I like mine hot in the morning. It replaces my cup of coffee. I no longer drink coffee. Um, but a lot of people put it in like these Stanleys. You can put it either up to 30, 40 ounces. A lot of people like it cold over ice. And then we drink that twice a day. And you just sip on it. You basically just sipping on it. You start out, make first thing in the morning, you just take a sip. If you start to get those hunger pains, you just take a sip. I normally start mine around like 6:30, and then I finish it somewhere around like 12 o'clock. And if I'm putting in this, I'll drink it down, put some more water in it, drink it down. Same thing if I'm having my cup of tea. I have the water cooler next to me that I can get hot water at work, so I get some hot water. Or like if I'm at home, I just keep a little extra thing of hot water, and I just keep just
Yeah,
sipping on it.
I'm drinking both hot now that it's cold out in
I know.
Pennsylvania.
I've had to say both of mine are more more hot than the cold. Every once in a while, I like it a little bit chillier. Like, if you're just walking around doing like housework or something like that and I'm feeling like I want something cold, then I'll make it cold. But now that it's been chilly, I have to say my majority are both warm. I love it. I've not missed drinking that one day since October 31st, 2022. Yeah, I've been on it
It's
for three
good.
years.
It tastes
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It comes in lemon ginger, and raspberry pomegranate right now. Um, I like the lemon and the raspberry pomegranate. We used to have apple spice. I love apple spice. That was a limited time flavor for the fall. Um, so I still have some extra, so I flip flop between the three of them. What do you like? What's your favorite?
I'm the lemon and the lemon ginger.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
buy one box of each.
right. So you're gonna have two a day. So you can either get 60 of one flavor, or you can split it up like Kay just said, and she gets the lemon and the lemon ginger. Now, the second part of this is getting fiber back into our diets because we've literally stripped fiber out of our diets. We are only getting about 10 to 12% of our daily intake of fiber. Women need about 25%, men need at least 38%. And I know this girl is not getting 25 grams of fiber a day. There's no way.
Mhm.
I ate most crap all day long. I mean, my dinner was my biggest, I'd say my healthiest meal of the day. I'd have 2 cups of coffee. I'd have my go-tos were a bagel, cinnamon raisin bagel, or a muffin. And I thought I was doing good by having like those like multi-grain. Thinking I was doing something good for myself. Um, but yeah, I know I wasn't getting enough fiber in my diet. There's no way. And I had no idea how important it is. Like if you go to the CDC and you look up the benefits of fiber, like it's really, really important for us. And I had no idea. Like, especially if you're pre-diabetic or you have type 2 diabetes, it's really, really important because
Well, my thing was I didn't realize how it gets stripped out of our food.
yeah, yeah.
Like
How like
like
most
that
things are wrapped in
I didn't
fire.
understand that.
Yeah, like so
So
most
now,
things like sugar comes in sugar cane, right? That the cane is the fiber, but you strip it, right? Apples wrapped in fiber, but most of the time we take the skin off and we make apple juice, right? Or we just, eat the apple. It's no longer healthy for us, right? We're stripping the fiber for wheat, right? Bread, um what it's wrapped in, that's the fiber. We're stripping fiber out of our diet, so it's so 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 important for you to get fiber back into your diet. So I always tell people to pregame with fiber. So when you're going to break your fast, you want to have fiber first. So we have our fiber in these convenient little packets. Now this isn't like a Benefiber or a Metamucil. Those are single source fibers. This has 7 to 8 grams of insoluble and soluble fiber. It's a very highly viscous fiber, and basically, when you put it in the bottle, it shows you where to put it up to. You can put it anywhere between 6 to 10 ounces of water. You shake it really quick, or you chug it like a beer. It should be the consistency of like orange juice, I say, right? Um, and you just chug it down. And basically, what it does is it wraps your inside and it coats anything that you eat after that in fiber. And it's going to help. Now, this has been studied by science, backed by science. It's going to reduce that post glucose spike anywhere between 37 and 43%, which is huge, right? Our whole goal here is we want to keep our blood sugar from spiking all day long. And that's why we intermittent fast. When you break your fast, you have that fiber. And, even if you're going to only have this once a day, we say to have it at your heaviest carb meal, or you can split it and you can either have half at lunch and half at dinner, or I buy extra. I have, half at, I buy and I have one with lunch and one at dinner. My mom, I think she's splitting it. Yes. And it's covered by HSA and FSA. Um, so you want to have it at your heaviest carb meal. And like I said, and what it basically does is it's going to help reduce that glucose spike by 37 to 43%, like I said, which is huge. Now, this is also like an all natural statin. So this is why my husband and my mother-in-law are all off statin medications because of this. And if you're dealing with any gut issues like IBS, autoimmune issues, this is going to help heal your gut. It's kind of amazing. Just listening to the testimonies, and it almost sounds too good to be true, right? But when you see, I mean, you've been doing this, I've been, seeing people's testimonies for 3 years now, and the healing that I've seen for all different walks of life between people, like I said, no longer type 2 diabetic. I can show you pictures of, which normally I have my
which
iPad.
pictures? I have your picture.
Well, you can show mine, but, I wanted to show when people who are like psoriasis, right? People are dealing with gut issues. And how, if you have gut issues, look at this woman. She was dealing with it on her back, psoriasis. Can you see that?
Wait,
All right, painful psoriasis,
I can see it. Yes.
right? And look how it's healed. And it basically says, um, painful psoriasis was resolved for Claudia. The skin disorder is a sign of insulin resistance. When she resolved her insulin resistance, the skin also was resolved with no medications after a lifetime of being on medications. So, like I said, then here's a gentleman who had it on his face. So this is helping people, women who weren't able to have a family because of PCOS. One of the side effects of that is infertility. Now having families. We had a gentleman who had stage 3 heart failure. I know it sounds too good to be true, but here's the testimony right here. He literally, his heart was preserved. He says, I've got stage 3 heart failure, needing a heart transplant, but since taking this system, my heart failure has been now preserved and improved. James is like, oh, wow, that's absolutely insane. He's like, honestly, I swear, I swear to God, it improves heart health. Even my heart failure team were scratching their heads. And he said, James, like, can I share this? He said, absolutely. Seriously, mate, I went from severe stage 3 heart failure to preserved and improved. This works better than we think. Now, this was crazy, a crazy testimony. I know the screen's not mirrored, but it says, as of July 24th, I've been on this system for 5 months and I've lost 60 pounds. I'm nearly off all my blood pressure medications. So you can see the difference in people, right? It tells taking the hill, but it says, additionally, my MS symptoms have vanished. Their
And
MS symptoms have vanished.
that's huge.
I went from 278 pounds to 218. Give it 90 days and watch your results. So this is like say helping people all over. I had a friend who her husband was dealing with IBS for over 40 years. He got on this system and basically was like, I will never be without that fiber. Because dealing with the IBS for all those years and now no longer dealing with it, he's just like, I mean, we have doctors doing this now. We have nurses, we have NPs, we have PAs, we have dietitians, we have um, uh, um, pharmacists, we have cardiologists, we have endocrinologists, we have neurosurgeons, we have ophthalmologists, chiropractors. So we have a huge medical team that have now realized how this is they're actually helping people for the first time, right? And now are actually even out here sharing this information. So it's legit. It's not snake oil. The only thing that you need to be is consistent. All right, because it can't help you if it's still in the box. I know
Right.
so many people that got it and were like scared to take it. And it's so funny because like I'm like I was not that person. I was like I was game. I got it in the mail one day and I was taking it the next day. I was like I had those blinders on. I'm like okay, I'm gonna do everything they told me to do. I'm giving this 90 days. If it's not working in 90 days, there's a 90-day money back guarantee. I'm getting my money back, but I'm gonna do everything that they tell me to do. And I could not even believe. I was mind blown. Mind blown. Yep. 2 products, 1 practice equals measurable results. I mean, like I said, we have people who have. Here was that gentleman, I'll show you, Michael, who was dealing with type 2 diabetes. I mean, he was dealing with so many different issues, but I mean, he went from 492 pounds. This was him in 27 days. You can see him in the yellow. In 27 days, he went from 492 to 463. He said, I've been using this product for 27 days. I stopped my journal completely. Sugar is averaging 110 to 130, the lowest it's been in 10 years. If I can get off my metformin and my Zipatide, I'd be a happy 52-year-old man. All this was done with zero exercise, as the neuropathy and my pain in my feet will not let me exercise. Pretty happy with the results so far. And this is him in 9 months, which he looks amazing, even better now.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, so I've been asking down 116 pound, 25 pills to a day to 3, which now he's down just to 1, 8 blood pressure pills to 0, reversed his type 2 diabetes. He said, get on the Feel Great system today. I mean, and there's just so many testimonies. Here's my friend Deb. She was dealing with low testosterone, allergies. She lost 75 pounds. And what you notice with a lot of these people, I'll show you Cody. He's a really good example. Cody, this was Cody in 6 months. You see how they don't have a lot of skin all over, because they're
No, it's not hanging.
all
No.
right, because you're using your body properly the way that it was meant to be used. You're burning your fat for energy. And once you get pretty insulin sensitive, then your body is to switch. It knows when to burn sugar and when to burn fat. This is Crystal. Crystal had Hashimoto's. She's a nurse. She was on 14 different medications. She's down to 1. You can see the inflammation that was in her face. Here's Katie. Where's Katie? Katie had PCOS for diagnosed in her 20s. She was on Ozempic. She was on a metformin. Nothing helped her. She got on this all natural plants, vitamins, and nutrients. And you can see she's lost almost 100 pounds and she is looking and feeling amazing. No longer dealing with PCOS.
Great.
This was my mom, suffering with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And this is her now. No longer using a cane, no longer on type 2 diabetes medication, no longer on stat medications. She's going out, she's walking. She no longer needs a wheelchair when she goes to the airport. She can get there all by herself. This is my mother-in-law. This was her in 2 weeks on the system. You can see how the inflammation went right away for her. She actually has a jaw. Then her doctor took her off her blood pressure medications in 2 months. This was her in 4 months. Then she went swimming for the first time in 40 years, and this was her in Thanksgiving. I think they both lost about 50 pounds. I'd say somewhere around, give or take a few. This is Blenda. She's one of my favorite stories. She was a truck driver that couldn't pass her DOT because her A1C was so high. This was Blenda. This was her a little bit after she had gotten on the system. But I have an amazing updated picture of Blenda. Look at that picture. This is my favorite.
Yeah, she really looks younger there, big
Right?
time.
Isn't that crazy? People are aging backwards. And you know why? Because when you're spiking your blood sugar all day long, basically what happens every time you spike your blood sugar, any kind of carb, banana, potato chips, gonna spike your blood sugar. Your pancreas secretes insulin. Insulin is our master hormone. It's the only hormone that affects every single cell in our whole body. It's got a really important job to do. The problem is it wasn't meant to do all day long. So basically what it does is goes, your pancreas secretes insulin, insulin goes, it takes that glucose, it knocks on the cell door, all these cells all over, and it's like the key, the receptor to the cell, it opens up the cell, gives the cell that vitamins and nutrients it needs to thrive. It's literally feeding your mitochondria, right? Giving it the cells all over the energies it needs to survive. Like I said, the problem, it wasn't meant to do all day long. So you got to think every time you have carb, whether it's sugar in your coffee, whether it's a muffin, whether it's an apple, whether it's a banana, it's going to spike your blood sugar. So our pancreas were literally working overtime. And after a while of constantly knocking on that cell, opening it up, shoving it in, shoving it in, shoving it in, the cells get overwhelmed and they shut down. They become resistant to that insulin and no longer allowing the insulin to open up, take that glucose and get it inside. Now, where is the glucose and the insulin going? Number first place it's going to go to your liver. Then it's going to go to your muscle. Then it starts to go to your other organs. Well, glucose is a very sticky substance. And when it's no longer getting into the cell where it needs to be, it can stick to your proteins. This forms something called glycation. And why is this important? Well, basically, when this forms this glycation, it can actually disform these proteins or make them completely dysfunctional. This causes aging, disease, inflammation, oxidative stress, and if you're pre-diabetic or have type 2 diabetes because you have chronically high blood sugars, it's going to speed up this process of glycation. It's going to cause nerve damage in your feet, neuropathy pain. It's going to cause nerve damage in your eyes, retinopathy. It's going to cause you kidney damage, and it's going to cause you cardiovascular issues, heart disease. And this is why we're having so many problems because our bodies are literally flooded with glucose and insulin.
Mhm.
And until you become insulin sensitive, and that's what Ben Bigman says, we need to live a life highly sensitive to insulin. And if you don't, he really literally says, if you suspect you're insulin resistant or feel you will be, don't wait to make a change. Don't wait until you've gained weight or your blood pressure is climbing or you're diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's disease, PCOS, erectile dysfunction, diabetes, osteoporosis, or more. If you're concerned about your family history or of these chronic disorders, you will know you're doing your best to prevent the disease by living a life that keeps insulin low and your body highly sensitive, insulin sensitive. Reading and understanding a book like this is good, but you need to translate your new knowledge into action. Do something now. And that's what we've done. We've taken our health into our control. And you know, I don't know about you, Kay, but for me, like I didn't realize what I was doing when I first, got on the system. I didn't realize the good I was doing for my body. I mean, I understand it now, but I had absolutely no idea. And now I'm paying to keep myself healthy. It costs
Right.
$5 a day. $5 a day to keep myself healthy. It's less than the cup of coffee and the muffin I was buying or that bagel I was buying every day. So if you guys are interested, Kay's got a little QR code, point your little QR code right there above her head. And that's going to bring you right to a website, which is going to give you a $76 discount
Yeah.
code. $76 discount code, which if you do a one-time purchase, it's a couple dollars more than the $5. I forget what it's, probably about $6 more, because they'll give you a $10 discount if you do the subscription. If you do the subscription, it's an extra $10 off. They pay the shipping, so it's even cheaper. And then you get the 90-day money-back guarantee. There's an app that we have. You just track it on the app. The app's going to tell you and remind you when to take the product so you don't forget. And if it doesn't work for you, you get your money back. It's a win-win situation. But like I said,
Yes.
right, the healing that we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
it's my phone. You want to tell them about the science call tomorrow?
Yes, we have a science call tomorrow. If anybody's interested, let me know and I will give you the link.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if nobody has any questions, thank
No,
you
there
so much
wasn't
for
any
listening.
comments because I had the
Yeah.
comments on. So
That's all right. Like sometimes if you're watching this after, after the feed is over, like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to either Kay or myself. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. We do have
yes.
a Facebook group called Wake Up to Wellness that you are more than welcome to join if you like. We try to put as much information in there as we possibly can. Plus, we stream the science calls in there. So if you want to go back and see any of the old science calls, you can see them in there. Yeah, and that's about it.
All
All right.
right. All
Well,
right.
thank you so
Well,
much for joining.
yes. And thanks for coming on, Diane.
Yeah, it was great. Love hanging out with Kay. Our Monday night. So if you want to come back next Monday, we'll be here next Monday
At
at a little bit
7.
earlier, 7. Yep. And we're probably gonna have a couple guests on doing this with us. Like I said, we're just getting our little feet wet here. This is our 4th one, so we're getting better. I think we're getting better every live,
Yes,
right?
we are. I think we are.
Yeah, I think so too, right?
Yep.
So thank you so much for joining, and I hope you all have an amazing night.
Yes. Good night, everyone.